but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Oᴏᴜᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your
Between October 2024 and January 2025, more than 265 lives have been lost to fuel tankers, many human bodies in many Nigerian states in their countless attempts to scoop fuel from overturned tankers. Ask yourself, is it worth the risk? The answer is a resounding no. Scooping fuel from an overturned park and disaster strikes. Ignorance or hardship cannot justify putting your own life on the line to stay alive. Whenever you see an overturned tanker of people attempting to scoop fuel, flee immediately or alert the relevant way being otherwise. Remember,
3FM, the sound of Lagos.
A very beautiful it's been a very long day actually. A beautiful Monday evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live from Mainland 98.3 FM. I trust your weekend was good. Year 2025. And then studio time check is 5 minutes past the hour of 4. And it's my pleasure to have you join us on the show today. And if you're tuning in for the very first time, we always get to run these conversations together every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5. Nation building, commitment, electoral conversations as well. It begins on Sunday night from as well. So we'll have enough space for you to not just listen to our seasoned analysts, our guests, also give you the opportunity to join the conversation because we're streaming this program live on all our social media platforms. Don't forget to follow us. Facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM on X, formerly Twitter, on Instagram and TikTok. Check us out on the same handle. So let's continue to build the social media family. And more importantly, in case there are editions of programs that you get to miss, you can go on our social media platform. And it's pretty sporty filled weekend for me actually. Got to see some football games of the week. The entire narrative around continuously, including military officers and IDP camps. Is more importantly also how we perceive ourselves as individuals, irrespective of your religious, affiliation or your political, your political decision, whatever political part, that has to be the priority more than anything else. So if you find joy in taking people's, you find joy in making people, putting people in perpetual sorrow, if you find joy in making people internally displaced persons, making them live like slaves, if a different kind of human beings, I don't understand how you would wake up, whatever the provocation, you pop into a village and you commit such, see, but if you look at it, I was running through some of my, preparing for this show, and I states it's unfortunate at different times. In 2024, Transparency International revealed that it was almost about 500 as well. In now, over 600 people, including children, have been killed in Benue. So you ask yourself, what exactly is the value of a Nigerian life? A Nigerian living in Nigeria, what is the value of our life? When you wake up in the morning, and then your entire source of livelihood is your farm. That's where your family would feed for the next 1 year until the next farming season. From farm on your way home, and then they attack you, and then you got killed. Or you just, a whole village under heavy over. Yes. I mean, seeing a few paragraphs from the conversation today. But once again, let me run you through. Yes. Tinubu has scheduled his official visit to efforts to foster peace and address the persistent conflict affecting communities in the state. As the president visits Ames State, President Tinubu will meet all stakeholders, including traditional rulers. In preparation for the visit, President Tinubu has already dispatched the Secretary to the General of Police, heads of intelligence agency, the National Security Advisor, and the Chairman of the Senate Committee of his scheduled visit on Wednesday. But it's one killing is because we choose the ones we want to report. Only one person has been killed, one person. And the question everybody keep asking is this: what is the end game? For released a statement saying that lawmakers in Abuja, are they lawmakers from Nasarawa? Why is it difficult to give? We've not heard of any high profile of a state is coming out to say that law may have been made from the security report he has on his table, but since to what is happening in that state. And the ironic part of it is that with one of his most severe food crises in FB, harvesting yams and carrots constantly every day. But maybe they've gone to recalibrate, or they've gone to whatever to attack, don't speak the language the same way we speak our. It's my pleasure to have you join us on the show today. And I don't know where we want to say, well, depending on where you categorize Kogi State, by the way. But one way or the other, whatever is happening in Benue, even if you are not from the videos, you see the pictures, I've been privileged to visit a couple of villages, everything normal. My guide, the soldier that was attached to me, told me that some of them move those things away from the IDP camp and go and sell them in open markets. Issues in our hands. The economy is struggling. Probably something would unbundle very soon. But the principal responsibility of every government, as stated in the Constitution of the Federal Republic, or you are governing, and these people don't have to be members of your political parties or people. I deserve to be protected. Even if I'm in jail, I still deserve to be protected while in that jail. Comrade Steve Aluko, how much of a problem do we have in our hands, especially with the issues in Ben, spotlighting these issues enough? What level of problem are we, Comrade Steve Aluko? You're welcome to the show today.
Thank you. I think let's start with a happy new beginning, because in all challenging time, there's also opportunity to get it better and move forward. Let's take it this way, that it's not that less body left hanging in some areas. But coming to Benue, my advice is that it's not that we have not profiling enough. It's not that critical questions have not been answered. It is just because the state apparatus is being manipulated. The essence of governance to protect life and property and promote the welfare of the people. If you securing the airport and road to Abuja, architecture, it's not about protecting the rural public, government rejected area. And then you push on from that to recently when the Pla community, and if it's even community class, which of them is the aggressor, which of them is the victim? And this is exactly what, for me, it's not his visit that matter. It is about addressing the issue and doing the right profiling. By not, if the governor has said politicians are anyway. Secondly, If the National Security Advisor is saying that it's foreign rand that have been crushed into it, of what relevance is that? We've seen a lot of stakeholder meetings that is bottled with deception, privilege people to come and do whatever they want in the crisis in Benue. When Akuna is having political challenge with the governor, feeding. These are the issue. So area, he called them unknowns assigns. This that is also coercing people, and terrorists soldiers are being killed on perimeter of fencing and the rest of it. And let me tell you, I'm not a prophet of doom. I'm in Benue. Success, quote and unquote. These people will start attacking other internally displaced people. You are not able to secure. The government have lost the essence of protecting life and property, does not deserve to be called government at whatever level. And what are we also saying also here? I'm happy that the governor, the president has asked Israel and Iran to study. It's only tell of a country that is at war. So it is not his visit that matter. It is getting the right thing. Because what I'm seeing, if we are not careful, person on grata as a sitting governor, it followed after the visit of, we see the declaration of state of emergency. But what are we saying in essence? Let the government do the right thing. The government have full report on who is an aggressor, on who are invading the privacy of people in the middle of the night. Technology to dictate wherever these people are and make sure that they are named. And once they succeed in one place, they move to another. The whole of Middle Belt, and let me also say this, that whatever political persuasion the who are saying, we want a Amotekun. Let me also say this, that it is also on ground. It's also reported that there are cases where the DSS went to Operation Rainbow. Why should you do that? To defend themselves. That security was it. If you give them the go ahead, they will make, and you see that all this madness will reduce. And we must not isolate what is happening in Benue as Benue case. It's happening in different states. Only that is underreported. Even the figure that you quoted for 2000.
Hello. Okay, I think we try and reconnect us. We're just looking at the unending circle of violence in the Middle Belt. We decided to focus initial schedule to visit Kaduna, and on Wednesday is going to be visiting Benue.
The level of killing that is being reported is underreported. It is based on the one the police claim, or about the people that are internally displaced but are not in their camp, and a lot of it. And let me tell you, some people have been in some camp for as long as, resettling people and then reintegrating people. This is what you have. And especially when the level of enforcement is low, is minimal, it is not what you can say gives justice to any part of men to do more evil. These people can be dealt with. Let the government give the go ahead for Nigerians to do.
Comrade Steve Aluko, it's tough, especially the sector waged by this crisis and this conflict. We have Nigerians in IDP camp, the fiber code, solution meetings, consultations, stakeholder meetings, so many things. In fact, the Operation Safe Corridor that is in charge of rehabilitating and reintegrating the bandits back into the society. So problems are not even from outside the country. You made mention of the fact that even in war-torn Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Iran, there's never been a time where a casualty of ugly, Comrade Steve Aluko, that is making it difficult. That is not.
When you come to the notice of religion and ethnicity, before you know people we arm their own, we defend them. I just gave you an example. A nationality clash. So when you say it's community correction, let's quote Abata. Abata says any insurrection in any country that the right arms are not bought, the right technology is not being applied, and then even the recruitment process is faulty. You recruit people that don't deserve to be in the military, that don't deserve to be in the police. You put all these factors together. At the end of that point, you go to other ethnic, will become larger than the society itself. This is what you have. He makes a World Peace Conference and say, until you do this, there will not be peace. If this won't happen, this is the number that we fall for it. And a reasonable, the statistics you have displayed, come and tell us how you get. A lot of, like some of the soldiers have done on social media, and they have at different times alleged nobody is talking. Then you come again to the real liturgy that will be used. You bought to Carlo plane, you bought everything, you have the Air Force, you have armed the police, you have armed to be able to leave some of these problems. But above all, a sense of justice must be brought to bear people. And then people at Abuja must be warned to stop greatly exterminating people. And after you have thrown them out, means even the state capital is not safe. So these are the issues. So let it not be treated as Benue issue, because once the people undermine Benue, they will move to another state, especially in the Middle Belt. They've been moving from Kaduna, Plateau, Nasarawa, that will burn out this country. This is how the terrorists took over. So let nobody think because. So the best time to act now in the best interest of, we don't know who these people are and where they are coming from. Not that it's not known to me. Some of these problems can be localized and dealt with at the local government.
Talk to people on session, and this is why. Apart from the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. The chain of command comes directly from him. Oh, state of emergency in Rivers State, it took effect immediately. And then the killing had gone on in Benue State, in Plateau State, in Zamfara State, even in Borno State, where the governor, rather than fix the security challenges in his states, deal with certain lack of political willpower. What does that say to you about the typical mindset of a Nigerian? Because the constitution already gives you any kind of political power you need. See that lack of political would affect your people.
The first issue is that the recruitment of people that don't deserve to be acknowledged as your excellency, and it's not people that deserve the appointment. It's not people that merited it. In most cases, they are not people that are. And then secondly, when you now get to governance, in which country do you hear people do endorsement around there? So if there are threats from here, if you don't do this, we will not vote for you. Some people will not take right, but because people just feel it never started, don't know what is the problem. But they fear if I do this, they will not vote me, they will not support me, I will not come back. Must you come back? Waiting till tomorrow. And I think the men is already planning it. It was Rivers River because the governor became governor through the these are the division to this rural area. Not more tolerable, you have to as opposed to. But most importantly, in opposition, you should go and read everything. When either is like Onanuga or what do they call his name? People, it's not that the power to do the declare it on security respite. But because to Rivers, I think we are going to a Benue on 2 days or a few hours. After you leave, what becomes a network and a community policing network,
it's disturbing, especially when that's the secretary to the government of the Fed. One would wonder that place where he would constantly collaborate with the tantrum at each other at every little opportunity they get. But a few weeks ago, in the state, our National Assembly members in Abuja, so it or Enugu that shares border with them, it didn't specify maybe they're from Benue. If truly he has lists of the sponsors of conflict statements.
Number one, what I expect him to do is to name the people. Name the people so that people will know who is the enemy on inquiry report. Emirs will involve the governor have his power. He should place it in the public. After there are civil society in Benue that if the governor cooperate with them and give them either his state or a neighboring state, the earlier they identify that person, the better. Let it not be like the time of Jonathan, that Jonathan said, Boko Haram, drop the name, bring the evidence. So that on that basis, if the president does not ask other people already, not only, I said in the plateau, in Benue already, and even in the Middle Belt, and put people in governance. The time to stop evil people in force. Otherwise, he will also be an accomplice. Because if you have a privileged information and you don't release it, that means you are also aiding and abetting against people and both his religious oath and his governing. Now that you should give it to him, he will come and address the press conference. People will not allow to be found and the best shape they are. By the time they know that within this, why would they not be dealt time? They are deliberately in this country, so that at the end of we defend them.
And I remember in February 2017, the bill was sponsored law, drive through the bushes because the cows are walking freely on the main.
Let me say this, that law is not new. It's just a fool. We should not take it and give it to the head of state on issue of ranching. Ranching is the best way. Federal government should take it as its own policy and make sure anybody around with cattle. If you drive around, they will confiscate it. So we must forest people. They must be empowered and they must be armed to the teeth of pastoral person in the farmland and be killing other people. Is that when there is, and we must get to that point. What I'm even saying is that time has come that our livestock sector, you should be able to buy land. We must not limit it to Benue. It must be to even the agricultural produce will be getting the milk and other nutritional value. It will also guide countries suffering what Benue is suffering. And the only way to also nip it, allow for isolated and dealt with as what? As a national challenge, not as a state challenge or one local government or state. Plateau is part of the north, and this type of killing is going on, and you are not able to come out with agricultural. This is the high time that the Tinubu's busy to Motekon in whatever name, in whatever disguise. Anything short of that.
Steve Aluko, in case you're just tuning in, you're live on Mila 98.3 FM. It is the Situation Room from 4 to 5. And as we constantly demand for dividends of democracy from the people that are sworn to protect us, I mean, it's tough and it's difficult. Just, I was talking to a colleague earlier today. I said, sometimes you wake up and it's really disturbing. But now let's go back to the issue you raised, which is the conversation around ranching. Everyone had always been of the opinion that the conversation, I'm a nomadic. I don't stay in a twofold. Is it that the government needs to do more in terms of sensitization, Comrade Steve Aluko? And secondly, what do you make of the Operation Safe Corridor, the rehabilitation and de-radicalized and then reintroduced into the society, some of them giving money to start up, but the people that the consequences of their actions are affecting are not being paid attention to. Go to the IDP camps. People are literally living like slaves in their own country. And the people that push them into those IDP camps are being reinstated into the society and they are living like genuine social justice as part of the things that can help us to reach fullness of ranching. If you ranch, Nigerian dairies, from Sokoto to Lagos, do we need more sensitization on that? And secondly, how big
law on issue of sanitation, on issue of environment, on issue of climate is largely reduced. And on issue of ranching, yes, more is running it as a what? As a creative governor. Many of them is that money that is in their eye. So instead of taking a decision that will help their state indigenous to survive, they are looking at that money. There is sufficient education, mobilization, and rustling their cow. That's one. And then it's also justice reintegrating people that have been demented in mind. I say so because most of that somebody has they will neutralize you at the end of the day. They say it is their core reliable like that. What about the people that have returned to their own house? And that is, you prove it's not about defending. The way we are going, we are providing fertile, because if care is not taken, people that are suffering double jeopardy, and the government should act in the best interest. Governors, especially the governors in the north, cannot excuse themselves. If Southwest don't have the machinery to control, what about the situation?
Okay, now let's talk about the issue of state police. We'll have to pick the calls now because towards the end of last year, is this another win from this? Is this another validity?
Also, so many of them, okay, they were the one that throw it off, but it has to do with some level of criminal complicity of some of these government of life and property. It's on local government autonomous area. But Nigeria, in 2000, become governor, so that at the end of the day, or Turkey or Israel, Nigeria is at war. If the people on Benue block the road and decide it's in the best interest of the governors to do the necessary rivers, why can't they declare state of emergency on the security issue? How come they didn't attack any campaign floor? So that's to tell you that there's connivance, there's complicity, and the onus is on Nigerians. We must insist that every region should have its own security architecture like Amotekon, so that where the police are in short force of the community defending their own self before any other backup comes up from any other region.
Okay. My final Nigerians to defend themselves. From Steve Aluko. I mean, you laughed. It's tell you that, it's going to just verbal communication to go on that journey.
Okay, let me ask you one thing. When people sign peace accord and people renege on their peace accord, what is it? Have they been arrested by the DSS? Have they been dealt with by other security forces? That's one. The director of DSS can give us example in Bauchi that it has worked in one of the local government. Bandits have been resisted, where kidnapping has been resisted. It does not mean that you overgeneralize it. You state policing, we must have community policing. It is what is done in different levels. In different areas where we resolve this problem, then the security forces will be overstressed. As we talk today, we say something has happened. And that's why we are saying, look, we paid for this democracy. And that is why we're saying this democracy must be defended. And part of the defense is that it must represent the interest of the people. And of utmost interest to the people, if the president cannot do the needful, just like Tinubu accused Jonathan, then he should leave the office, he should resign and leave the office, taking the right action. He should leave the state for the people that can take the right action. And if the state governors are part of the problem, the president should come out clear and mention what the state governor ought to have done and they have not done, so that people will know who is really their enemy. Because we must not be doing wrong profiling. We have gone past that stage. We must not allow Nigeria to become a slaughter is inflict on itself. It's better we micromanage this one, and then on that basis you are licensed. And if we that the governors will give, anything goes on, and from Iran to Israel, if it comes to Nigeria, and before you know, everybody is dumbfounded. The end people. Our people must not be stupid.
Permit me, I would love to keep you on standby so that I can all come rest. And that's what the Nigerians are dealing with. The states, the region that is supposed to, farmers are even paid taxes to bandits before they can access their own farm. I hope every single tribe, primary responsibility 0410. My guest, Comrade Steve Aluko, is still very much on the line. Well, good, stressful, but we thank God.
Yeah, you have Ambassador Muzwa here. Good evening to Comrade over there. Look, we need to tell
Comrade Steve Aluko, are you listening to Muzwa?
No, Allah. Listen to me. We need to tell ourselves the truth. So what is so? Look, this communist clash has started from Ahmed Way. I'll just come with a band. But it's going to be difficult because these people, this insurgency is not a straight fight between the military because there's only mark. Just it's going to be difficult. And these people, they know themselves. They do this without these people come up on me.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. Let's make it 1 minute so that we can pick as much calls as we can pick and also read messages.
I was here in the church yesterday. The usual. My greatest to your guest. It's like your guest will be a pastor. Maybe is it when you are with us on this station? Your Bible quotation, you have a long way to go. As you said that if the people are listening, they don't listen. How are we they listen to those of Bible quotation and go back to the Bible? Even though they are bad, you go that dear God in that bad you. He just sent prayer to the image of the senator and they went to weekends to enjoy themselves. So if we do anything that will damage that 2027, it will rather just let it go because of the selfish ambition you have on head of self. But if I may ask, as I always say, the current governor of Kaduna State, what is the sources of him to be able to manage the state for 2 years of that life and property are properly kept? Not like the one.
Talk very quickly, please.
Yes, know this governor, the Benue Plateau Borno, they should learn from him. That is just my take.
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. My guest has said a lot, especially on issues that affect the killings that are going on in.
I greet Professor Luku too much.
Your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Edward calling from Tango.
Okay.
Greet Professor Luku too much. May God continue to bless you. Coming to the point of the day, secure lives of Nigerians, insecurity, and they have seen it, and they have been inside it now, and the news have been on the table. A lot of feeling, and it's which he's failing. He knows that he's failing it now, but maybe 27 accepting defected people who have consumed a lot of money from the estate of Nigerians. It is on his table. So what the journalist is supposed to do now is to forward all the names all these people have killed to his table, so for him to know the numbers. Nigeria has been working on daily.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear. You see, this
there's feedback where you are. Could you move away from your radio set, or you turn it off completely?
Let me not do that.
Please.
This the country can't sit at that table and discuss and find out the problem. Mr. President should step in, take a radical decision and can make it to go away. And no, and that's the main problem. And the ethics problem is one of it. And finally, the government that know those who are behind this problem. Why can't you go to Aᴛᴛᴏ to tell Mr. President who are behind it? If you can't name them, I think it's a collaborator as I'm saying it now. Mr. President must ask fast. Enough is enough. That's my stand out this evening.
Thank you very much, Ms. YS. 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Yeah, you're talking about insecurity, especially. I think I saw one where Very Dark Man was trying to view or show us some of the pictures of people born. You know, we need to be fair to say with ourselves, because without that, we will keep on deceiving ourselves. The insecurity we are witnessing in the north can go around that area if the federal government is really, or the state government is really, if they want to be intentional about this. You can go and meet them if at all you don't know in fire for fire. I believe in negotiation. If I have offended you, forgive me. If you have offended me, I will try to look for a middle ground to set. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me squeeze in one more call. Then I'll allow my guests to, respond to some of the things that are zero. Hello, good evening.
Well, good evening, guys. Short feeling. Except during the Tutsi and Hutsi, whatever. And we are not in a war. What is happening? Mr. President, the other time the IG said he's relocating. I want the job.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, good evening. Okay. I think I'll need to quickly read some of your messages as well. 0913-600-0410.
Yeah, you saying that President will visit Benue Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yes.
People were swept out. More than 1,000 were still missing. What's talking going there? And let me ask you, please. President is the Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
True.
You can recall as a journalist, sometime last year or 2 years back, a group of worshippers practicing more than 120 something were killed instantly. What stopped President to go there? And villagers were sleeping when Air Force went there and bombed them. And the Chief of Defense Staff, before you know, no investigation, nothing, no primary investigation, nothing. He just addressed that there is no justice for them. When you label some people as a criminal, that is the result. Let me tell you, whether people like it or not, please permit me. Okay, let me make this
just wrap it up. There's no time. Just wrap it up real quick, please.
I'll write it. Benue is a place that is known for crime. Chief and Jukun as a Mɪᴅᴅᴜ said it. These crises are there. You cannot go and cannot do that. There's something happening.
Thank you. Commerce dialogue and reconciliation. Does that give you any idea that there is going to be justice? My last caller just talked about the fact that people have not been properly punished for these crimes. That is why the crimes are within a government, and then they get arrested, and then they get captured, and then they get rehabilitated into the society. Are you comfortable with this chain of events? And let's wrap it up from there. What do you make of all of the contributions from the people as well?
First and foremost is point of correction. Chief and Juku is not in Benue State, it's in Taraba State. And those fights always now is purely genocidal. People deliberately killing people in their homeland, denying them of their ancestral land, and following them to IDP camp. I think we must get it clear. I do agree with the last caller that why is it that the president did not visit Moko? I agree with him. The problem of Moko, let's also place it, is totally different from this. It is because we built Kanji Dam and we refuse to resettle the people. So the practical issue of insecurity in this country, we must begin to set again. What is it that the Southwest have done that they have not done? And is there room to do it? Yes. And then we must tell ourselves the truth. There's no place that a nomadic herdsman is allowed to parade anywhere, even in Saudi Arabia. And this we must enforce. That we must secure the Fulani themselves to be secure from cattle loss, rustler, must do the needful. All the recommendation, if there's no other one, can recommend the 2014 confirm recommendation. What is their recommendation on security? What is their recommendation and the rest of it? We must get it. And the Northern Governors Forum, they must set up a peer group. It should become a peer group mechanism where state to state will be comparing what is it you are doing your state that have helped you, what is it you are doing
for me as well.
Exactly. They must learn from the Amotekun issue. Because if the North is able to come out with his second tribe and let nobody deceive anybody, you also to counter that violence. What we are asking government to do is to intervene timely and correctly and rightly to avert a larger scale of God rule everybody wherever you reside. It is the duty of the government to protect everybody, every Nigeria, to remain wherever they want to live. But your economy activity must not go and buy land like in other places now. And you cannot say because you want to farm, people should not have their own ranching. But it must be according to the economy policy of this country, where if an Igbo man wants to sell anything, you buy ground and build your shop. People must be allowed to settle on that basis. So that at the end of the day, all Nigeria are secure across religion, across ethnic group, and we have a more sustainable Nigeria where we can take on issue of governance and progressive development.
Thank you, Comrade Steve Aluko. It's always my pleasure, and I know that. Thank you very much, Comrade Steve Aluko, for being my guest on the show today. Video of the presence of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Egbetokun in Benue, and I'm seeing how I'm back to give you the Monday edition of Sports Cruise Live from Mɪᴅᴜ 98.3 FM. It was a crazy, wet conversation, all of that. Also, the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. There was a massive round. Keep your dial locked only on Mɪᴅᴜ 98.3.